Welcome to another episode all around. It's Cardell Dudley, and I'm here to touch on George Mason versus Loyola, Maryland uh, game last night. George Mason, hey man, it was a tough battle, but they ended up pulling it out 62-54. I feel like the boys around the polite down the stretch when Loyola made a run after a lot of adversity filled play and situations throughout the game for the Patriots was huge. He may not show up in the box score, but he controlled the game, allowed their scores to get in Keyshawn and Darius Mad Dogs, Jared Billups, and all those guys to get in their spots and hit shots. Obviously, the scoring of Keyshawn Hall, the rebounding, the free throw shooting from Darius Mad Dogs down the stretch. Jared Billups doing what he does, doing a little bit of everything, scoring, rebounding, defending all five positions literally was huge, and you know what he knew, and I felt was big off the bench, especially after what I get into as I talk about this game, the ejection of Amari Kelly, as well as them being coming into the game down one big, and Malik Henry, man, they were undersized. Loyola's big, they had 3'6" bigs. And they tried their best to utilize that size advantage, and especially when Amari went out, they almost pulled it out. They got real close to seizing the game, but nonetheless, uh, the, George Mason found a way and they pulled it out. But before I get into it, go over to our folks at Oohs and Ahs. Get over to Oohs and Ahs. Treat yourself to a burst of flavors with their crab strip fritters at $15.95 and the crab mac at $16.45. Crispy goodness and creamy crab mac and cheese is comfort food with a twist. Visit Oohs and Ahs at oozandahs.com or go to the restaurants yourself. U Street and Georgia Avenue. If you don't know the address, the U Street is 1005 U Street, Northwest Washington, D.C. And the Georgia Avenue location is 5933 Georgia Avenue, Washington, D.C. And reserve your seats now. And then, treat yourself, man. In my eyes, the best soul food spot in the DMV, bar none. But with that said, man, we're going to get right into it, man. For me, the game was in three parts. The first part was George Mason. They jumped out on him. They used their skill. They had the advantage on the wings. Loyola may have had the advantage on the inside with their size, but I feel like George Mason had the advantage with the athletic part of it, the athleticism part of it, and on the wings, man. Um, they're pretty deep on that end, and when they're locked in, they can get it done on both ends, and that's what makes them tough to deal with, man. But that wasn't the case while Keyshawn and those guys had the scoring, especially Keyshawn early on. He had their first few buckets. It was George Mason defense, man. They was flying all around. That's what I mean by they're deep on the wings. They're athletic. They're versatile, and they can get it done on both ends. Especially when they're locked in. That's the main part. You gotta get them locked in. You know what I mean? And sometimes that's easier said than done when it comes to college players, man. They suffocated Loyola early on, held them to 28% shooting. But while they were clicking on cylinders on offense to begin the game, man, and that's why they jumped out to a 24-10 lead after a Woody Newton dunk at the 8:38 mark. I just feel like Keyshawn, and I'm gonna probably harp on this throughout the broadcast, when he's under control and he just keeps it simple instead of trying to be too flashy. He's deadly, man. He can score 20 plus at will, and then in an efficient manner because you're going to foul him because he's so shifty. He's a three-level scorer. He can post up, mid post, low post, either block, and he's just a tough guard, man. He beats himself too much though, and when he beats himself, that gives the opponent time and chances to find a way to beat him, to shut him down, and then slow the Patriots down, obviously, because he's their leading scorer for a reason, or one of their leading scorers. I feel like him and Mad Dogs are kind of the go-to guys for them down the stretch. The Patriots held the Greyhounds down to 30% shooting from the field during that stretch, and it appeared that they was about to blow the game wide open. It did, man. But the game shifted a little bit as you expect every team to make a run. Tyson Commander, Loyola sophomore guard, started getting going. He scored a quick 7 points. 6'10" junior Milos Illich from Loyola. One of the 6'10" bigs, he scored 6 points. And then the Greyhounds defense rose to the occasion. They held the Patriots to only 4 points over the next 3 minutes after the 8:38 mark, where they was up 24-10 after the Whitney Newton dunk. And, they started chipping away. They didn't really go on a huge scoring run, but they held them scoreless and they were chipping away slowly but surely from the free throw line. And, periodic shots from Tyson and Illich. And this is what Deion Perry, their leader, in my opinion, just watching their team, haven't even scored yet. He's just setting the table. He's just trying to get other guys involved. So that had to be a concern for the Patriots because he can explode at any time. And it was coming. And it eventually did come, but I'll get to that as we go along. And then at the end of the first half, some motivation came for the Greyhounds. As I talked about at the top of the show, the Patriots for Amari Kelly. He kicked the Greyhounds for Golden DK in the head. And as he was running down the court after they both fell to the ground, battling for a rebound, Kelly was immediately ejected, which is a big blow for the Patriots. Like I said, they didn't have Malik Henry, who was dealing with personal issues. Then and they really needed his size and athleticism, especially against a big team like this. So they really left him with one big, and that was not Malik, but Woody Newton. And Woody Newton got extended minutes, and he actually stepped up, especially in the second half. He did. Without his production, I'm not sure if the Patriots would have pulled this out. They really needed him, and most importantly, they need him on the boards in defense. And then he showed up. He definitely did, man. Loyola point guard Deion Perry, he hit both free throws. And the Patriots, had a 14-point lead, and they appeared to even extend it. It shrunk to nines. They went in the half, leading 32-23. Although Loyola had the momentum clearly, and that's the scary part. Even though they were up, Loyola had the momentum, and we all knew that going in, man. So it was just a matter of how would the Patriots regroup and deal with that momentum, because you knew it was coming. Like I said, Perry hadn't even really got it going yet. He didn't even look to get it going right, but you understood. He understands how to seize the moment, and you know what I mean. And he did as the second half, began. So in the second half, as expected, they rode the momentum, man, and they rode it to a hell of a rise, man. Deion Perry, man, that kid, he's explosive. He's explosive, man. He's explosive scoring the ball, and when he got it going, it's really not much you can do, man. You got to kind of get up under him and really make him work. But look, he started the game. He started the game and hit he started the second half, not the game. He started the second half with back-to-back threes in 49 seconds. The first 49 seconds of the second half, he hit back-to-back threes, and just like that, George Mason's 9-point lead shrunk to 3. And now they're in a dogfight. Now they're leading 32-29. No Amari Kelly, no Malik Henry. Deion Perry's waking up. Tyson Commander had it going. Illich was chipping in. And now you're in the dogfight. And that's what coaches fear. That's why when you do silly stuff like kicking somebody in the head, you really, really hurt your team in a major way. Because that could have came back to haunt the Patriots. But nonetheless, they were in the dogfight. And that began a back and forth of a bunch of small runs between both teams for the majority of the second half. Loyola looking to use their size in the front court, 3 6'10" bigs to be exact, to beat up the smaller Patriots, while the Patriots look to use their versatility and athleticism, like I said, to their advantage. Deion Perry, he continued to score a barrage throughout the second half. He scored 11 of his team out 13 points in the second half. He had help from D'Angelo Steins, who woke up. He only had 1 point in the first half, but he woke up and scored 10 of his 11 points in the second half. And they got it down to 1 point deficit for Loyola. But then I think Tony Skinn made a great move. I think he stopped trying to match up size-wise with those guys, trying to figure out a way to do that. And he went to the strengths, which was his speed and athleticism of his wings. And they had to just step up. And that lineup with Ronald Polite, Jared Billups, I'm going to throw to Trey Wood in there. He did a good job in helping contain Deion Perry in the second half. especially down the home stretch, and Steins. Those three, along with Darius Maddox, Keyshawn Hall, and Woody Newton stepping up at the five, man, that did the job. That did the job. They could swarm. Uh, they were able to swarm. They were able to get in the passing lanes and make it difficult for Loyola guards to make just simple passes and made it tough when they took shots. They were closing out at will. And that allowed them to stay in front. Even though late Loyola took a 1 point lead, they immediately came back, hit a three, and I think Darius Maddox hit the three, and then they never looked back. And once they settled in defensively, it was all she wrote. And they did a good job of slowing down Perry and Stein uh, down the stretch, who were their two main scorers. They pretty much, contained Tyson Commander. He couldn't really get good looks. And then, Keyshawn Hall, Woody Newton, Jared Billups, Darius Maddox, they all hit free throws down the stretch, and that was the reason why they were able to hold on and win 62-54. Um, it wasn't a pretty win, but it was a win, and that's all you can count on, because this is how it's going to probably be when conference play comes, when every team knows you to a T, man. Like they know you to the very details of your team, man. They know everything about you. You're gonna have to win a lot of games in an ugly fashion. And what I mean by ugly, and it's not necessarily ugly to a basketball guy like me, but it's ugly maybe to fans because it's not a lot of high scoring, a lot of dunks and pretty plays and flashy plays or whatnot. But it's result based plays, and that's what matters at the end of the day. Winning the game, and that's what they were able to do. Um, they managed to overcome some self inflicted wounds, and man, they pulled it out, and that's all you can ask for. Um, kind of breaking down, moving forward as far as each player. Uh, look, Ronald Polite, he finished with 6 points and 1 assist or whatnot, but he didn't have any turnovers. And I just love the way he managed the game. Like I said, it's not going to show up in the box score, but he calmed everything down. When Loyola went on that run in the second half, he calmed everything down. He got guys shots where they needed to get shots. He got them the ball where they was most effective, and then they capitalized off of it. Either they scored or they got to the free throw line, and that helped them control the game because it stopped. It slowly but surely stopped Loyola's momentum, and that was huge for them. Um, and that's what being a floor general is all about, man. And then he held up defensively, man. He did a good job defensively. They didn't get nothing off on him. So I feel like his steady hand and his poise in the second half was huge. Jared Billups, man, what can I say about him? He literally guards 1 through 5, a 6'3" guard. His defensive impact, especially in the second half, was huge. Like he really he really limited Perry and Steins and Commander. And then he was switching off or like Golden Dike and all those guys in the front court, man, Illick and forward. Like he was all over the place. He defended whoever got going. Scan told him go get on it, and he pretty much shut their wood off. Meanwhile, he added 10 points, 8 rebounds with a near double double, 2 assists, and he only took 5 shots. You see what I'm saying? Like his impact can't be measured in all the points, man. He don't need a lot to make an impact, man. And he takes pride in his defense, and it showed. And without his impact, they don't win at all. They just don't win. Keyshawn Hall, highly skilled player, very talented, finished with a double double, 17 points, 13 rebounds, 6 of 14 shooting. Had 3 turnovers, which isn't too bad, but they were just turnovers. Like why? Why are you trying to cross up 2 or 3 people in a small space? They're waiting for you to do that, and they did. They stripped them from behind, knocked the ball loose, and it caused turnovers, and they got runouts, man. I feel like sometimes he tries to do too much, and when he realizes to just keep things simple and play more chess and just figure out when and where to get a little bit more flashy and do it with a purpose, man, he can easily average 20 plus points a game, easily, and not need a lot of shots. Then when you add in how he's holding up defensively, guarding multiple positions, and getting you 13 boards, which is huge for any position, that's big time. Um, you could just see how much room he has to grow, but how high his ceiling is, man. and he's a talented kid, man. He just gotta understand that uh, sometimes simple is more. Sometimes simple is more. You know what I mean? And once he understands that, and mature a little bit as a player, he's gonna be even more devastating than he already is. Darius Mad Dogs, man, I call him Mr. Consistency for the Patriots. You always know what you're gonna get with him. Just steady. Going, he didn't shoot the ball well for the field as far as overall 2 for 6 from the field, but he was 2 for 5 from deep, 40%, always great, and he was perfect from the line. He had 13 points, 3 rebounds, and his defense, man. Again, they won this game off defense. They built their big lead in the first half off the defense, and the second half they pulled away and won the game off the defense. And he's a big part of that. He's another versatile defender. He can guard 1 through, honestly, depending on the floor, he can guard 1 through 4. But mainly he can guard 1 through 3. And he did a great job with that, man. They were swarming, man, with those guys, man. And and then when he got his opportunities, Ronald Polite set him up. He got to the free throw line and hit every one, especially one down the stretch, and they needed every one. Because I think in the first half, they struggled mightily. Yeah, they shot 64% in the first half, and then in the second half, they shot 73%. So a lot of that it was him, perfect from the line, especially in the close game. Those free throws were huge, man. Woody Newton, what can I say about him? Stepped up, uh, 8 points, 8 rebounds, near double-double. You know what I mean? Altered a lot more shots. Hit some clutch free throws down the stretch to make sure they seal the win for the Patriots and make sure that they won. 28 minutes, man. He might not have got that many minutes had Amari not got ejected, but his numbers called and he was ready. He stepped up against a massive front line. Woody's kind of a tweener at the forward position. He can step on our perimeter, but he also can bang on the inside, do the dirty work as well. And that's what you saw that he did, man. And he shined. They can get this type of production out of him moving forward. It makes George Mason all the more better, and I'm sure that's what they put the coaching staff, scanning those guys, they expecting from him. Baraka Okogie, another kid, man. His impact was more in the first half. He did well handling the pressure from Loyola. 4 points and 3 assists, no turnovers, 2 or 3. Freshman point guard, good production from him as well. Like I said, his most damage came in the first half when they built that big lead. Still has some things to learn, but for what they're asking him to do, and the amount of minutes he's doing it, he's reducing, and that's what you can ask for. I thought Trey Wood, he only played 5 minutes, but those 5 minutes were huge because Loyola had full momentum. That's when they were down 3, down 1, and they looked like they was about to take the lead and try to surge and try to win this game. Keep in mind, Loyola only had 1 win this season. See what I'm saying? So that would have been a eye-opening loss for the Patriots. I think he did a great job on Deion Perry. Deion Perry is ultra quick, super quick and shifty, explosive, and you don't need a lot of space to get a shot off. Don't let his size fool you. But Trey Wood was locked in on him, man. Wherever he moved, he was right there with him, and it forced Deion Perry to have to give up the ball and relocate and have to go to plan B because he wasn't getting by him or getting any space to get a shot off. But Trey Wood was on, and look, he was pivotal, man. He was pivotal. So, with that being said, man, George Mason improves to 8-2. They will next play Bridgewater, Virginia, this upcoming Tuesday at 7 p.m. Go visit George Mason and check him out. Conference play is on the way as far as A-10 play, and if you haven't been paying attention, check the standings, see what the teams are doing. It will be held. George Mason closed out that non-conference schedule against Bridgewater, obviously, like I said, Tuesday at 7 p.m. Then they go on the road, face Tulane, who is 8-2, another big non-conference test. Next Friday at 2 p.m. Then they come back December 30th, 2 p.m. and close their non-conference schedule out against North Carolina A&T. Then the war that is the A-10 begins, man. So I thank you for joining me. Another episode of All Around will be coming soon. It was Cardell Dudley. Checking with you guys soon.